So I have some pretty sad news. This is the last video I'm ever gonna film. In the studio, that is. Sorry for the jump scare. I thought that would be a funny joke. No, but really, our house is completely finished finally, and I have a studio in my home now. And so I am packing up this big, bright, beautiful studio and moving it home and setting up a new studio. So I thought, why not take you with me? You guys constantly ask for a studio tour. What better kind of studio tour than seeing me actually set up the new studio? This is gonna be a little more chaotic than my usual videos. I don't have a ton of experience with like taking a camera with me on the go, but I'm gonna do my best and hopefully you find it fun to follow along. So come with me as I pack up this one and move it all to the new one and show you the behind the scenes of that. So I haven't actually fully decided how I'm gonna set up the new studio, but I have 10 days to get out of this one. And so I need to start packing. So I thought I would give you a little like reminder of what this studio looks like before we actually move the stuff into the new one. And I am coming at you hot with a messy studio. I'm not trying to clean anything up before I show you. This is basically the extent of what I'm gonna have to pack up to bring to my new studio at home, which is a lot smaller. So it's gonna be interesting to see how I fit this all in there. But this is what I'm working with before I start packing. Wish me luck, I guess.
I really only had like 1 hour each day on top of my actual work and my kids and everything I needed to do any packing. So I did it in chunks. On the first day, I kind of just started organizing, boxing up the ridiculous amount of pens and markers that I have. And then on the second day, I recruited a friend to help me and we packed up the big electronics and my big desk and brought it home. And then on the third day, I got the rest of the little stuff packed up and started moving the actual furniture. And that's when I realized,
well, that's a fun little surprise on the day I'm trying to move. Guess I'm getting my exercise in. Okay, I am sweaty. It is empty. Without an elevator, that really was not very fun, but I got it done. It's empty. So, on to my home office to get it all set up now. That's my dad's van down there. He's doing a couple loads with me. Hey, Dad. How many times have you moved this office with me?
Many.
Too many. You want to do it again someday?
I forgot to set up the camera while we moved everything in, but here's how it looked at this point. My desk is gonna go here and then come into the middle like an L shape. And truly this room is a lot smaller than I had in my mind. There's a lot that needs to go in here, but I got to work on setting up the desk and then most importantly, the computer, because I still had to work while I was in the midst of this move and the setup. I definitely should have put this rug in before I moved in my stuff and my desk, but whatever, it fit like a glove. And so did the shelving actually, minus this one spot where I realized I wasn't gonna be able to open my drawers. So I flipped the whole desk around, and again, this would have been 10 times easier if I had anyone to help me. At this point, things got a bit complicated because I actually couldn't unpack my own stuff. I had to just kind of stage my office and set up the shelves with only the giveaway items that I had for workshop week, which was happening in 3 days. So my stuff actually has to stay in the hallway and be unpacked after workshop week, which was not ideal. So here's how things looked after stage 1 of unpacking. My art supplies in the hallway, the workshop week stuff set up on my shelves, and some piles of stuff that would be staying packed for the time being. Okay, so I had to take a break from unpacking to host workshop week, and this is the aftermath of that. Full realness. So now things are tight in here, and I also still need to get this whole pile in there organized. So now I think I have to pull everything out into the hallway and start fresh. So that's what I did. I pulled everything out and off the shelves. I started unpacking things very slowly but very surely. It's honestly shocking to see all at once how many art supplies I have, mostly pens, but it's absolutely crazy. So I was trying to figure out where everything should go, and then...
Is that where you want to sit?
I forgot that working from home now also means working with Marge now. Anyway, I kept going, and here's where it ended up after actually getting everything into the office and out of the hallway. All that was left was to tackle this big pile of stuff, for which I needed new bins. So I grabbed a cart full from the dollar store and I headed back to finally, once and for all, get this stuff unpacked and organized. I mean, honestly, it was so satisfying using these new bins. They fit everything so perfectly and they fit on my shelves like a glove. I think it just was like meant to be. But then came time for my least favorite part of all, setting up the film equipment. I cannot express enough how much I truly hate setting up this stuff. As a one-woman operation, it requires like so much setting up and then pressing record and then checking how it looks and then tweaking it and then changing the angle and changing the focus and changing the lighting. I just hate it so much. I had to do it in 2 days because I was just so frustrated. And then finally, after literally over a month from my move-in date, I had it all set up. Here's the final setup, and let's be honest, it's not ideal. It's not feeling creatively inspiring. It does not make me feel like I want to sit here surrounded by bright cameras and lighting equipment and really create art. It's just not doing it for me. But it's all set up, so let's see how it looks on camera. All right, so I'm not gonna lie, I had this vision of starting this video in my old studio and then ending it with me in this like perfectly set up, gorgeous and inspiring studio that I love, that I can sit down and make art in and teach you tutorials in. And then I would take you on a little tour of exactly how I set it up. However, I'm actually feeling very frustrated and uninspired by the way that this all turned out. I really underestimated the size of this room, honestly, and with the chaos of having to make like 500 billion other decisions for the renovation of this house, I kind of just didn't really think through the actual like layout of my furniture and the existing furniture that I have for this room and whether or not it would really work for what I wanted to do. I also didn't really think through like how I wanted it to feel. So I think in the end, I'm just kind of feeling a few things. Yes, I want this space to be conducive to filming tutorials and to filming YouTube content and stuff, but I also need to think through how I want it to feel and how, like, what I want in here to make it feel like I actually want to come in here and sit down and be cozy and create art. Historically, I've always just set up my studios in a way that it's like bright white and I can easily film content and have like really beautiful crisp images for my videos and stuff like that. But that doesn't actually make me want to create, I'm realizing. In fact, for the past few days, I've been taking my art supplies out to my kitchen table, like a wood table with cozy seating, and like feeling more inspired by that, sitting near a window and just like having my coffee. And that's what actually makes me want to create. So I feel like something's got to change here. And that means that I'm going to leave this video actually kind of on an unfinished cliffhanger, I guess, and say that I'm going to be tweaking this layout and this office and hopefully making it look and feel totally different than it does in this video. And I promise I will give you a proper tour once I have set everything up and it's in a way that actually makes me want to create. Because right now I could give you a tour, but it's just like boring video equipment, and that actually isn't like inspiring for someone who wants to create art. So for now, I would love to know, as a viewer, as someone who watches creative, crafty, tutorial style content, who are your favorite creators to watch on here? I want to do some like market research and see how other art creators are setting up their spaces, because I'm feeling stuck and I'm curious if other art creators have a way to make their space cozy while also conducive to filming. So that's just the real of how this all turned out. And yeah, I'm just feeling like I need a change. It needs to not be bright and white in here. It needs to be cozy. So stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed the behind the scenes anyway, and I am happy to just keep you posted on how this is all actually turning out in real time. So I'll leave it there and I'll see you in the next video.